How do I know if I have a good business idea? It's great when you're sitting here kicking around ideas with people and some of the questions they have. How do I know if it's a good business idea? I remember when I was coming up and I would have all of these great business ideas, and they really were good business ideas. Let's start this company. We should do really well. Let's start this company. We should do really well. I never could get any of these big dogs to invest in me. And I was always like, man, I don't understand this. This makes a lot of sense. And as I started being in the world where, I'm setting on other boards, I'm fighting real CEO problems. Like I remember I used to call myself a CEO when my company was doing 2 or 3 million a year. I had no idea what it was like to be an actual CEO where you're fighting, you're raising capital, you're fighting with lawyers, you're working with lawyers, you're working with banks, you're trying to work with the city and the federal government. Like it's a totally different level to be a CEO of a couple $100 million company or a few $100 million company than it is, your small, under $10 million company, which is why that CEO never gets the respect on the mainstream. It used to drive me nuts, but I totally get it now. It makes a lot of sense because the fights you have to go through are completely different fights. But the way that I see investors looking at it to invest is if they can't make 100% on their money, they're out. So if you need a million, they need to make 2 million. They need to make their million back and make another million. And then you still have to be able to make money, right? That's really hard to do now. So when I look at it, I'm like, okay, what kind of business owner do you want to be? Do you want to be the business owner that lives off your business? Because you can, right? You can live off your business. You can live off your business debit card. And, you're probably going to make $100,000, $150,000 a year. You can absolutely do that. But if you want something that is built, scalable, able to be sold at one day or maybe publicly traded one day, then everything has to change in your approach to making it work. And so that becomes key. That becomes key on what you're going to focus on. But I would still say, like, if it's not going to make 100% return, you're out. So I see all these little thrift shops and stuff.